So I am in front of the Imperial Palace, and I finished, my recording at Tokyo FM radio station, and I'm walking to the Tokyo station through the Imperial Palace front garden. It's so tranquil. Some joggers on this corridor. I don't think joggers are allowed beyond this point, but I think there are some preparations going on in front of the Imperial Palace. Maybe some festivities, some cars parked there, maybe some preparations for some ceremonies. I don't know. Well, just regular maintenance work. That is the Hibiya area, and these are the pine trees that are hallmarks of the Imperial Palace front garden. And of course, this used to be the former Edo castle where the Tokugawa shogunate used to reside, but now it is occupied by the emperor and empress and imperial family. And these are the cars, apparently in preparation for something. So, well, this is arguably the center of Tokyo. Tokyo residents do not come here often. I sometimes pass through this area because it is a convenient corridor through which I can go in the direction of the Tokyo station from, for example, the Tokyo FM radio station where I have been recording my show. It's a chat show welcoming guests from all walks of life. Today's guest was Mr. Ryuichi Teshima, who is a very well-known journalist and writer. He is known for some intelligence novels which depict the workings of intelligence officers in and outside Japan. And so it was a really nice chat with him. And so we are in front of the Imperial Palace households, and yes, apparently there's something going on here. I don't know what. Today is, maybe there will be some ceremonies. Possibly there's going to be some ceremonies postponed from the new year, like the annual reciting of waka poems by the imperial family and those people who made contribution to the new year waka poems. Maybe that's going to happen, I don't know. So this is quite a large area, the front gardens of the Imperial Palace. But for some reason or another, this area is largely unused. It's this elegant space through which you can walk. But otherwise, it's not used that much, except for these really ceremonial occasions where the emperor and empress greet the well-wishers on the New Year's festivities, or when people wish to note their goodwills by writing their names to the special notes that are spread out when some really special events happen to the imperial family. So this part of the front garden is more relaxed, and people here can actually enjoy walking through here. So I'm going in that direction. That's the Imperial Palace. Really precious reservoir of greens. The Imperial family has been a lover of nature. It has been a tradition of the Imperial household, and so it's really precious reservoir of greenery in the heart of Tokyo. So probably I will take a turn from this road into that area. So what was I saying? Yeah. So today is not necessarily warmer, and it, as I have been discussing, it's a kind of really odd that the Tokyo Olympics is now seems to set to proceed. There's some element of disbelief actually with all these things happening in the world still. And I hear new reports of resurgence in Brazil and other nations, but the organizing committee of the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics, I think they're kind of adamant in their will to proceed with the games, and so in a few months probably we'll be having athletes from all over the world, probably not the spectators, but the athletes at least will be welcoming them to this city. There's this sense of really eerie unreality to all this. It was supposed to be a festivity of goodwill and top athletes, but now it's uncertain what kind of festivities it would be. This year and last year, these 2 years were hazy in my perception of what's happening in Tokyo and in Japan and in the world. As if I am in a limbo while the daily activity is going on. I feel that something in life is definitely missing, and I suspect that this is a feeling that you are sharing all over the world. For example, I have been lecturing at universities and using Zoom and other remote teleconferencing services, and if you look back, you feel as if these memories are kind of hazy, not really there. At the time I was lecturing through Zoom, but this is a outer waterways of the Edo Castle. Yeah, it's a technical marvel, isn't it? I mean, in those days, these people didn't have heavy-duty machines, and yet they could accomplish this, and that is a marvel. Anyway, there's this haziness in memory and in perception, and sure, this has been happening, but it's how do we reappraise the events during this time? Things happened. My old professor at University of Cambridge, Professor Horace Barrow, passed away last year. It was a really sad thing to happen. I met Horace for the last time in the year 2019, and I have really great memories from that meeting, but now he's not with me anymore. But I didn't have time to grieve properly. I have missed many events. I couldn't go to many conferences, and my life has been confined to Tokyo and to occasional outings out of Tokyo. But otherwise, I have been living a life of confinement, basically. And that is the building where the FCCJ, Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan, is located. I sometimes go there. So life is still going on, but I feel as if things haven't been really happening in the last few months. Everything is unable. So the question is, when the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics really go forward, would they bring the much needed feeling of revival and life to this city and elsewhere in the world? That is the question. When do our lives restart? When do we feel that things have now returned to normal? I just wonder, because people talk about this new normal life, but this is not normal. This shouldn't be the new normal. And it's like in adolescence, you experience something and you feel that your childhood is over and you never return to the juvenile naivety. I feel that in a sense, similar thing has happened to me after this pandemic. I feel that I'm not naive as before. I am not young as before. I'm not maybe optimistic as before. This experience has made me aware of the vulnerabilities that our existence is essentially exposed to. And I don't think that when this is over, I would overcome this experience altogether and return to what I was before this event happened. These shops, I think they're coping. This is a Comedy Garden shop, and there are many shops that are coping, but I'm wondering if things return to normal after this, and I don't feel that I would be returning to my old self ever again after this experience. If it's as if something in you has been broken, something in everybody has been broken. And for Japan, in particular, because this happened when Japan was preparing for this great festivity, the first Olympics, Summer Olympics, to be held in Japan since 1964. And this was supposed to be all feel-good occasion, welcoming, smiling visitors from all over the world. But this happened, and now it's not going to be the same thing ever again. And even if the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics can be held, if it is to be held, it wouldn't be actually the same. So it is as if you have lost some element of innocence. I think this would be particular to any generation that experience this kind of event. I think it has happened in history repeatedly: wars, pandemics, natural disasters. But for this particular chunk of people, including me, I think this has been it. Probably this has been the defining loss of juvenile joy for this time window of human species on the earth. And I cannot imagine how I would be feeling after this is over. I probably would appreciate some certain things more than before. Small things, small joys, certain poignant pleasures of life. But at the same time, I feel as if I would be appreciating other things less and less. I see people buying chocolate for the so-called White Day. When the men are supposed to return their favors to girls who have given them some chocolate. in Japan, the Valentine's Day has turned into a chocolate festival where the girls are supposed to give the boys chocolate to express their affection. Of course, it's all commercialized, but we start taking hold. That is the Apple Store. So as I was saying, I don't see how we can regain our fresh enthusiasm after this. There are people who are saying bullish things like Mr. Elon Musk, who say that we should go to Mars. Yeah, probably we should. I would be happy to go to Mars if, it's at all possible. But when you go to Mars, this kind of thing can happen. There can be some disease spreading on the spacecraft in the Martian colony, and what would you do then? All these bullish ideas about the advancement of technology, where would they lead? If we developed artificial intelligence, it cannot really help us from this, dire state of public health. It can probably, ameliorate some of the sufferings, but not all of them. And what is the point then of developing artificial intelligence? Now we have come to the Tokyo station. So, after this, I feel as if everything is ultimately futile. It's like as if every effort of life is futile when you consider the fact that we are, after all mortal. We age and die before long. And in face of that fact, what does it mean to strive and celebrate? And I used to enjoy the scenery here in front of the Tokyo station much more, purely and with serenity before all this happened. But I feel as if I wouldn't be able to enjoy things after this. That's the Tokyo station. That's the Emperor's entrance. Only the Emperor would go through that central gate. And so we have come to the countdown clock of the Tokyo Olympics again. It's 133 days, 1 hour and 12 minutes and 4 seconds now, 3 seconds. Do you really have the Tokyo Olympics? Soon the torch relay will be initiated, and then we will probably 133 days to go and 165 days to go until the Paralympics. Extraordinary couple of years, 2020 and 2021. We don't know for sure when this would end because of the variations and mutations. And so I have completed my walk to the Tokyo station now. So I will stop recording here. It's been nice to be musing like this. And all the best for your life, elsewhere, everywhere in the world. And I will do my best with mine.